Hello and welcome back to Here's the Thing. If you're following along with our Oktoberfest, we're reviewing all things spooky and scary ahead of Halloween, but I'm taking a break from the spooky and scary to review something cheery to ring in the holiday season with Shane Black's newest release, Play Dirty. Play Dirty is Shane Black's first film since 2018's The Predator, which was much maligned, and perhaps because of that, this film was not getting a huge push. It didn't get a theatrical run, but it is now available on Prime. It stars Mark Wahlberg as a character named Parker. He's this very typical professional thief and a classic archetype, the guy who's always on the verge of his next big score, always telling himself, I'm 1 year away from retirement, I'm one big job away from normal life, and you can never quite get there. We've seen this guy many times throughout fiction. In fact, this is actually based on a series of 28 novels starring Wahlberg's character, so if you're familiar with Parker, you may know how this thing plays out, and it is a very fun but typical action thriller. It stars Lakeith Stanfield as Grofield. Fun character. He's probably the standout character. He's this theater kid from New York, so he's a criminal. He's doing awful things, but he's going on like Shakespearean monologues and finding excuses to act and play up his character, play up his roles, and throughout all these heists. He's a fun character to watch. There's also Rosa Salazar. She plays a major role as a mercenary named Zen who teams up almost against her will with Parker's character in this heist. There's a fun supporting appearance as well from Tony Shalhoub, who is always fun to see and stuff. And there's honestly a lot of surprising character appearances in here. I don't want to spoil some of the comedians and some of the recognizable faces who pop up in here because I was pretty surprised to see some of the people who showed up for this thing, especially because it feels like such a low-scale release. This film is at its best when it's being the most silly it can be, leaning into the Shane Black, leaning into the Christmas and the songs and the decorations. I think one of its standout sequences, honestly, is towards the beginning of the movie, where the opening heist goes a little bit awry and it ends up spilling into a local horse race. So you have cars speeding through as horses are jumping over them or smashing into them, and it becomes total chaos. So when this movie leans into the fun and the goofy like that, I was having a pretty good time. Shootouts right in the middle of New York City, huge explosions, cars just engulfed in flames. When they were doing that stuff, it was all pretty fun. Unfortunately, it's not all fun throughout. Whenever this movie tries to be serious and tries to lean into its drama, it just completely falls flat. It really slows down at points and has the characters go on these almost endlessly monotone monologues about their past or their ambitions or like their family history and how that kind of slightly ties into the plot a little bit just to give them an excuse to say it. But the drama on this is pretty exhausting and the performances don't help. Mark Wahlberg especially just feels like he's totally asleep at the wheel in these dramatic scenes. He's selling the comedy, he's selling the action, but when he's trying to turn to that drama side, it's just not working. And I wish this movie would have just abandoned a lot of that drama, right? It ends up feeling like this weird tonal clash of a fun Shane Black romp that is quippy and fast and leaning into the holiday spirit of it all, but then it has to all of a sudden switch up and be this like dollar store thriller that feels like a Liam Neeson kind of Ice Road type of movie where it's just not at all narratively ambitious, going through the beats second by second. You can tell exactly what's going to happen from the first minute of this thing. You know where it's going to go, and it never reaches beyond that narratively. So all of the fun style, all of the fun Shane Blackisms here and there that make this thing watchable are unfortunately not enough to make this thing great. It's a serviceable thriller. I'd recommend it narrowly if you want to see Shane Black take small steps in the right direction. This is not even close to the Predator level bad. This is very serviceable, very watchable. But I hope his next film reaches beyond this because unfortunately it's just not going to be something I remember by the end of this year. Its lack of cohesion tonally and just its severe lack of ambition narratively make this something that I'll totally forget by Christmas time this year. And that's not what I wanted because I would have loved to have this be a new movie in my Christmas rotation, but it's just not good enough to warrant ever coming back to. But like I said, I hope Shane Black's next release is bigger than this one. My final score for Play Dirty is going to be a 6 out of 10. A positive score, but narrowly. It really sneaks its way past that 5 out of 10, and I wonder if I come back to this, if I'll feel a little bit less good on it. But like I said, I just hope that Shane Black can rise above this and beyond this for his next film. If not, he might just be kind of cooked. He might be, a Netflix guy, an Amazon guy for a little while. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you saw Play Dirty, what you thought of it. And like I said, we are in the middle of our Oktoberfest, so if you want to check us out, we're reviewing TV shows, movies. We even reviewed a video game as part of our horror season. So if you want to see our thoughts on all things spooky and chilly and scary, check out out our Oktoberfest. We have reviews up every single day, shorts and full reviews on our channel. So if you like holiday stuff, take a step back a little bit. Let's celebrate some Halloween first. Let's not rush it. We'll do Christmas, but let's start with Halloween. All right, give us a month. Give us a month of Halloween. But we're celebrating here on Here's the Thing. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hit a like if you liked it. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments. And until next time, keep watching those movies. Even if they're just streaming originals. You never know.